27th of August, and I'm back today with a Flosstube stitching / life update for you guys. I have to apologize to start out with. I'm a little bit sick. I'm actually feeling a gajillion times better than I was feeling last week. However, I sort of have just a lingering cold and snuffles and all the stuff that goes along with that. I also have a puppy here trying to figure out what I'm doing on the floor. I'm sitting on the floor today in front of the piano in our front, what we call our front room. I have filmed here before, but it's been a little while. I have a rug up here behind me that I made, it's probably been 2 or 3 years ago now. And it's quite large. I can't even capture the whole thing in the camera, but it's one of my favorite rugs, and it stays up in the summertime. And then I'm getting ready to put up. I have a great witch rug that will go up here here in just the next couple of weeks. So let's see. Let's start out with life a little bit. I have a ton of stitching stuff to talk about and show you. So. I promise not to divulge too much about life. Can you go lay down, puppy? Baxter, I rarely sit on the floor, so he's trying to figure out what I'm doing on the floor. He had found a little patch of sun in the kitchen to lay in, and I thought he would stay there. And we successfully got both of our 2 youngest off to college this weekend on Saturday. We took Ryan to the airport, left the house about 6:30 in the morning, and got Ryan dropped off and through security, and said our goodbyes to him, and he headed to D.C. To start his first semester of his sophomore year of college at George Mason. And so he was a little sad to leave, mostly sad to leave his girlfriend who lives here. They've been dating for about a year, and so I think he was more sad about leaving her than he was about leaving us. And then we had the car all loaded up, and we headed up to Sioux Falls, which is exactly 2 hours and 58 minutes from my front door. And we were there most of the day. Took most of the day to get Maddie's room, her dorm room, set up, and all the little running around things that you have to do. And so we left there. Brian and I left there about 3:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. And the biggest disappointment of the weekend, because I'm not even going to go to the goodbyes and talk about that. We'll just stay away from that for at least for this time. But my hope was, so Shanty Stitches is a great cross-stitch and quilting shop that is about 30 minutes from the university in Sioux Falls. It's in a little town in South Dakota called Beresford. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And my plan all along was to drop Maddie off at college, get her set up, and then head to the stitching store, because I knew that if I kind of had something to look forward to and also a place to be in public, I couldn't cry too much. Unfortunately, it took a little bit longer, and the stitching store closed at 4, so we weren't able to. We cruised through Beresford at about 4:05, about 4:05. So we weren't able to stop in there, but nonetheless, everything went fine. It went better than can be expected, and so far my conversations with Maddie, it sounds like she's having a great time, and all is well. And so yeah, we're gonna just leave it at that. Okay, well, but however, even though I didn't make it to Shanty Stitches, I still managed to spend some money and to order some things online. And I need to head out to Reflections sometime this week. And Baxter just laid on my lap, so he just plopped right in my lap. He's about 40 pounds. Anyway, I need to head out to Reflections sometime this week. Anyway, let's get started. I have an FFO. So you saw this when it was finished, and it was the little welcome welcome sign that I did with the sunflower in the middle of it. I'm sorry. I'm really out of sync today. So the 2 days before Maddie was set to leave, we went garage sailing. Garage sailing is one of her most favorite things to do. Maddie did not buy a single thing. I'm not a huge garage sale person. I mean, I'll go. But I found all sorts of things. So the first thing I found was this. I'm going to try to just show you the bottom part of it. This funky clock, and it was sort of on a base, and it was all kind of this sort of black, super dirty, super old. The clock wasn't working, which I don't really care that much about that. But I grabbed it and thought, oh, I know exactly what I can do with this. And it was $3. I brought it home. I got some chalk paint. I chalk painted it in this kind of cream color. I think it's farmhouse cream or something like that. And then I finished it today, and that is what it looks like. So I put the welcome on it, mounted this fabric, found this fabric in my stash. I don't know how well you can see that. There's kind of a glare. It's just a black fabric with some little yellow flowers, little yellow and red flowers in it. And they're not really sunflowers, but they kind of gives that vibe. So I mounted that fabric on a piece of sticky board with a piece of batting underneath, and then mounted this on a separate piece. And then I had these are actually stickers. I mean, they have like sticker backs to them, but I peeled those off, glued those on, added the bow. That's an antique button that I have, and yeah, and it's all set. And I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Oh, I added a little bit of rickrack. You can barely see it, but a little bit of brown rickrack from the Lady Dot Creates, one of the packages that Pam sent me. So there we go. I have this sitting on I have a big cabinet in my front entryway, and this sits up on the cabinet. So I spent the morning kind of finishing it off, and trying to get the clock to work. I put a new battery in the clock, and the hands to the clock were bent, and so that it was not working, but I think I have the clock working now, maybe. So anyway, I was kind of happy with how that turned out. That's my only finish. It's my only finish, and it's my only FFO for the week. As far as whips go, I was pretty scattered. I really lost all track of Witchy Wednesday and Merry Monday and Santa Sunday and Fall Friday, and I just sort of worked on things as I had time, or as I needed to relax and sort of chill out as we were getting the kids ready to go. So, but I did work on a little bit of everything, and so I'll just go ahead and we'll just talk about a little bit about the first thing that I worked on. And I need a new bag for this. This bag that I bought is broken. But the first thing I worked on was a mid-Amish life. Looks like this. And I worked on this one night while Maddie and I were watching Bachelor in Paradise. Oh my goodness, that show. I don't even know if that's a guilty pleasure. It's just a bad show, but you know, just one of those things. So I got just a little bit more done. Last time I just had this part of the overhang done of the roof, and this is, I think, wheat or something in the background. And then I got to start on this part of is that a house there? Yeah, that's just kind of the side of the house here next to, it's so weird to look at this backwards, right here. So not a lot, but loving this so much. I love this. I don't know. It's going to take me a million years to do it, but it's really, really pretty. I'm going to do these in no particular order because I just have them laying here. I am participating in an exchange, a smalls exchange, with the Midwest Cross Stitchers group. And so it doesn't have to do with the retreat. It's just a random, Michelle Rudy often has, you know, random exchanges, and I've never really participated. I've done Christmas ornament exchanges, but I've never done just a kind of a random smalls exchange. So we had our option to pick fall, not Halloween, Halloween or Christmas, and I picked fall, not Halloween, because I'm kind of in that mood. And so the way this exchange works is we make, Baxter clearly wants to be in this video, we make our exchange partner a small, something I think 6 inches or under, and then we also buy them, I think what I remember is $25-ish worth of something off of their wish list at 123 Stitch. So my particular, I won't, it's, you know, a secret until it's revealed, but my particular partner just recently started doing Flosstube videos, and so it's been kind of neat because I've been able to watch her videos and really get a feel for what she's into besides just looking at her wish list, which her wish list is quite long on 123 Stitch, which is fun because there was just a lot to choose from. But anyway, when I decided to, did get her small started this past week, but I decided I was going to go ahead and get her 123 Stitch ordered so that, you know, I would just have that and wouldn't have to worry about that long term. And of course I went to 123 Stitch, and not only did I buy her some stuff, but I got myself some stuff. And this was one of the things that I happened to see, and I think this may have actually been on her wish list, and I hadn't seen it. I was growing up, or in high school, I was a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan. I still really, really like Edgar Allan Poe. And when I homeschooled my 2 youngest for just a year. So when Maddie was in 5th grade and Ryan was in 6th, I homeschooled them. And we studied a lot of Edgar Allan Poe, and I made them memorize poems, not just Edgar Allan Poe poems, but just poems in general. Each week they had to pick a different poem to memorize, or we would study different poets and so on. Emily Dickinson is my favorite poet, but I love Edgar Allan Poe. So anyway, of course, I had to memorize Nevermore when I was in high school, I think, or maybe middle school, and that was one of the ones that I think Maddie had to memorize. And so we quote it to one another a lot, and so this happened to be on my partner's 123 Stitch wish list. It is The Raven by Lottie Da, and I love it. And what kind of drew me to this, first of all, that frame is outstanding. A lot of times when I see things framed framed in a picture, I'm not crazy about the frame and the way they look, and I don't want to frame them. I would like to find a frame very similar to that. But what drew me to this one is that I at first thought, oh, it's all one color. It's all done, you know, monochromatic. It's not. It's actually 3 colors. They're MPI silks, and I did order them. And so the Raven is black. This band down here is kind of a gray, and then this is done in sort of a brownie black color. And so anyway, I went ahead and ordered some fabric. This is 32 count. I think this is just 32 count Witchelt linen in natural, and I coffee tea dyed it yesterday. So I just got a little tiny start on this last night, and I still wasn't feeling great last night. But and the light in here isn't very good, but you can kind of see. Yeah, so there's just the tiniest start on this, and you can't even see there is some modeling in this from coffee tea dyeing it. I may stitch the whole thing and re-dye it because it's all black and blacky brownies. I may try that and see. But I just love that, and I would really like to have that done for Halloween this year. Okay, I'm at 15 minutes, so I'm going to end here and start another video.